Hi guys, it's April. Today's review is brought to you by my finger. My poor finger who had 3 stitches. Because what doesn't say action-adventure more than a finger full of stitches and The Progeny by Tosca. You like how I, subtly showed you guys that yes, my finger is covered in a huge pink band-aid, so it will be flying about in awkwardness. That won't stop me from talking about this book. So I will do my review in the normal fashion that I normally do my reviews. I will have the non-spoilery thoughts and opinions at the front, and then the crazy, chaotic mesh of thoughts that are in my brain afterwards. So I will tell you when that happens, so if you don't want to spoil yourself for what could happen in the book, if you decide to pick it up, that is when you can go and come back later after you finish the book and start a discussion, because discussions are wonderful and I love talking to you guys. So I learned about The Progeny by Tosca when I was just randomly walking around the bookstore wanting to pick up a book, and then I saw she was having a signing. I told my roommate, and then all chaos and panic and excitement ensued because she really enjoys Tosca. She has read several of her books before. I haven't, so this was my first adventure into Tosca, and guys, it was great. The Progeny is a young adult sci-fi action adventure thriller novel about a girl named Emily who has had her memory erased. She has chosen to have this procedure done because of something in her past, and of course she can't remember this, but her past has started to come back and hunt her down. As she's running from people, she learns that she is the progeny of the Blood Countess, or Elizabeth Bethany, who is a iconic figure in history, which I didn't really know about until I picked up this book. This book is a mixture of pretty much everything. It's action, it's romance, it's paranormal, it's supernatural, it's fun clothes and cute shoes. This book starts, takes off, and never stops. You can't breathe while you are reading this story. If you do, you might miss something, which it was a great, quick, fun, and very interesting read. I learned a lot about the Blood Countess. It was interesting to see how all of it was tied into this book. I learned a little bit about history, which is, I'm okay with that. The whole time you are going on this adventure with Emily, trying to figure out her past and her future and everyone and where their place is at, because she, of course, doesn't remember anything. You never know who to trust, and that confused the heck out of me. As soon as I got used to or started to understand maybe this person, that was completely shattered. Nothing is ever what it seems. You want to trust someone, but there's always this niggle of doubt on whether or not they're being authentic and if it actually makes sense. And that is a lot of what kept me reading, and I flew through this book in a grand total of this weekend, which is 2-3 days, something like that. I don't know. It happened. I did have some issues with some character and relationship development because it does move so quickly. You don't really get a chance to see the characters and make each of them individual people, and I missed that a little bit. But because it was so action-packed and so fast-paced, it makes sense for something that happens in such a short period of time as Emily is trying to figure out everything that is going on, figuring out her past, figuring out how she is connected to all of these progeny and the people that are hunting them down. There was a lot of things going on. With that being said, there was also some questions that I had that I really hope are answered in the second book in this duology, because I had a hard time believing in some of the supernatural elements. I couldn't quite get them to fit in my mind on how they were trying to explain it and how something like this could happen. I think it can be figured out because it is a really fun book. It's quick, it's easy, it drags you in, and you need to know. And the wit that Tosca writes with is absolutely great. Anyone who has the humor to bring up sushi got a place in my heart. You are forever a author that I will go to. Because of sushi, yeah, I'm easy to please. sushi. I ended up giving this book a 4 out of 5 stars. It is really good and I recommend it if you're looking for a quick summer action-packed read. Okay, so this is the point in the review in which I start to get a little gushy about random things and events that happened in the book. So if you plan on reading the book and you don't want to be spoiled, back away slowly and then come back after you finish so we can compare notes. The first time we start meeting the hunters and the watchers, I had a hard time believing the backstories that were being fed to her. I couldn't understand where these abilities came from in the hunters and in the progeny. And the fact that they're so closely tied together, they have to be related in some way, shape, or fashion, but I couldn't connect it. And all these questions kept on flowing through my mind. Why can the hunters ignore the progeny, and why can they take the progeny's memory? And the fact that all of these abilities of the progeny came from the Blood Countess herself. Where did they come from in the Blood Countess? Did they just like spring out of nowhere when the Blood Countess was born, or was it something that came down a line of people? And if that's it, then wouldn't the progeny not just be the Blood Countess, but other people as well? There was these things and questions, and I started spiraling down this dark hole of needing to know. So I'm hoping things are known in the next book. Ha ha ha! As I'm sitting here watching myself just flail around with this book and my finger just kind of like hanging out right there, well, that is attractive. I bet you all wish you had a awesome pink finger like mine. It's gonna be the new trend. Everywhere on BookTube I'm gonna see people with just a random thick bandage around their finger. Yeah, I'm looking at you guys. We should start this trend. So that was one of the things that I started to struggle with the supernatural elements inside of the book, wanting to know the root causes of a lot of things. There wasn't a lot of time to develop a lot of this story because everything was happening so quickly and it's so short. So I can understand that either A, it has to be in the other book, or it has to be one of those things that is left somewhat in the ether to figure out in your own mind. I'm really hoping a lot of those questions are answered, like I said before. And then there was how fast-paced the book was and how I felt a disconnectedness with the relationships because of it. There was that romance that blossomed, and I wanted to really connect with that romance, but at the same time, and maybe it was because that Emily herself wasn't, I keep calling her Emily and I could call her by her real name. It's not like the character of Emily, because her memories aren't there and she's so disconnected with her own past, maybe, but at the same time, I don't know, all of the relationships she ended up creating all felt a little ephemeral, felt a little wispy, not quite tangible, like they were there but not there. I think I want to see some more. I know there's a lot going on in this book, and I really did enjoy it. Those were just a couple of the elements that I felt could have been a little more rounded out. But overall, I really enjoyed reading it, and I can't wait until the next book, so I will be looking for that. Yay! If you've read this book, leave some comments down below and let's start talking. I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.